Walk into a Costco and pick up a rotisserie chicken. It costs $4.99. It has cost $4.99 for decades. Grocery stores nearby sell the same chicken for $7, $8, sometimes $9. Costco sells millions of these chickens every year, and by most estimates, it loses money on every single one. So why does one of the most successful retailers in the world deliberately sell its most popular item below cost? And more importantly, if it is losing money on chicken, where is the profit actually coming from? The answer changes the way you see everything inside that warehouse. Costco is not really a retailer, at least not in the way most people think. A traditional retailer buys products cheaply, marks them up, sells them to customers, and keeps the difference. That markup is where the profit lives. The entire game is about buying low and selling high. Costco does something fundamentally different. It buys products cheaply, marks them up as little as possible, and sells them to customers at prices that are barely above cost. The difference between what it pays and what it charges is so small that it barely covers operating expenses. In many product categories, it covers nothing at all. But here is something strange. Costco is one of the most consistently profitable retailers on earth. Its margins are predictable. Its business model is remarkably stable. And it has maintained this position for decades without significantly changing what it does. So where does the money come from? It comes from something most customers pay before they ever touch a single product. The membership fee. To shop at Costco, customers must pay an annual fee. That fee unlocks the door. Without it, the warehouse is completely inaccessible. The products are irrelevant until the membership is paid. And that fee, collected up front before any transaction happens, is the engine that makes everything else work. Here is why this matters. When Costco collects a membership fee, it receives that money immediately. No product has been purchased. No shelf has been stocked for that customer. No employee has helped them. The cash arrives before a single cost is incurred on their behalf. And because the fee is annual, it arrives again every year as long as the member renews. That predictable, recurring stream of revenue is completely separate from the economics of selling products. It does not fluctuate with the price of chicken or the cost of shipping containers. It arrives on schedule, year after year, and it funds almost everything. But recurring revenue is only valuable if customers keep renewing. A membership model that loses members quickly is not a business, it is a countdown. So the question becomes how Costco keeps renewal rates so high, year after year, across tens of millions of members. The answer is the price on every product inside the store. Costco caps the markup it takes on any product at roughly 14%. Most retailers mark up products significantly more than that. A grocery store might mark up a jar of pasta sauce by 30 or 40%. A department store might mark up clothing by far more. Costco looks at those markups and deliberately refuses to match them. The result is that nearly every product inside the warehouse is priced meaningfully below what a customer would pay almost anywhere else. And that price difference is what makes the membership feel worth paying every year. A family that buys enough groceries, household supplies, and everyday goods at Costco each year will typically save more than the cost of the membership fee through lower prices alone. The membership does not feel like a cost. It feels like an investment that pays returns. And when something feels like an investment that is paying off, people do not cancel it. Here is something that reveals how carefully Costco manages this dynamic. The company tracks membership renewal rates obsessively, not as a secondary metric, as one of the most important numbers in the entire business. Because every member who renews is not just paying the fee again. They are confirming that Costco delivered enough value in the previous year to earn another year of their loyalty. A renewal rate that stays high is evidence that the price discipline is working. A renewal rate that drops is an early warning that the value proposition is weakening somewhere. And Costco's renewal rates have stayed exceptionally high for years. In some markets, more than 9 out of every 10 members renew. That kind of loyalty is almost unheard of in retail. And it exists entirely because the prices inside the store are low enough to justify the fee outside it. But how does Costco keep prices so low when most retailers cannot? The first answer is volume. Costco sells a deliberately limited number of products. A typical grocery store might carry 30,000 different items. Costco carries roughly 4,000. That sounds like a disadvantage. But it is actually a structural advantage. A supplier selling to a small retailer moves a modest quantity. A supplier selling to Costco moves an enormous quantity of a single product. The economics of those two conversations look completely different. Costco's limited selection means its buying volume per product is massive. And massive volume gives Costco negotiating power that most retailers cannot access. A supplier who wants to be in a Costco warehouse has to offer a price that justifies Costco's markup cap. If the supplier cannot offer that price, the product does not make it onto the shelf. That discipline forces suppliers to find efficiencies, reduce packaging costs, and accept margins they would not accept from a retailer with less purchasing concentration. The limited selection is not an accident. It is the mechanism that creates the buying power that enables the low prices, that drive the memberships that fund the business. Here is something counterintuitive about how Costco uses that limited selection. Customers who walk into a Costco often do not find every specific product they were looking for. The selection is too narrow for that. But they almost always find something interesting they were not expecting. A large package of something they buy regularly at a price that seems almost too good. A seasonal item that will not be there next month. A limited run of something that creates urgency to buy now because it might not be available on the next visit. This dynamic, sometimes called a treasure hunt, turns a shopping trip into something closer to exploration than errands. And customers who feel like they might discover something valuable come back more often than customers who simply know exactly what they will find. But here is the cost that sits inside all of this. Running a warehouse at Costco's scale is expensive. The buildings are enormous. The inventory is enormous. The membership of staff required to move that inventory, assist customers, and maintain operations is substantial. Unlike a typical retailer that funds these costs through product markups, Costco funds them through a combination of the thin margin on products and the membership fee. When either of those inputs weakens, the model comes under pressure, and the membership fee creates a vulnerability that most businesses do not face. Costco has to earn that renewal every single year. It cannot raise prices to compensate for cost, increases the way a normal retailer might. If Costco raises prices, the savings that justify the membership fee shrink. If the savings shrink enough, members stop renewing. If members stop renewing, the fee income that funds operations drops. The entire system depends on keeping product prices low enough that the membership always feels worth it. That constraint never goes away. Here is something strange about the rotisserie chicken. Costco has acknowledged that it sells the chicken at a loss. The price has not changed in decades, despite significant increases in the cost of producing it. But Costco keeps the price exactly where it is, not because the economics make sense on that individual product, but because the chicken pulls people into the store. Customers who come for the chicken buy other things while they are there. They push a cart past thousands of products priced at small margins. Each of those purchases adds a little to the business. And the customer who makes a habit of coming in for the chicken develops a shopping relationship with Costco that is worth far more than the loss on any individual bird. The loss is calculated. The traffic is the product. Beyond the membership fee and product sales, Costco earns additional revenue from services layered on top of the warehouse experience. Pharmacy counters that fill prescriptions at prices below most standalone pharmacies. Optical centers that sell eyeglasses and contacts at significant discounts. Travel services, auto buying programs, insurance. A credit card program that returns a portion of spending to cardholders as rewards. Each of these services draws members deeper into the Costco relationship. They are not simply add-ons. They are reasons for a member to think of Costco as the solution to problems that have nothing to do with bulk paper towels. The credit card program is particularly interesting. Members who use the Costco credit card for purchases inside and outside the warehouse earn rewards that can be redeemed at Costco. That redemption brings them back into the store to spend. And when they spend the rewards, they typically spend additional money on top of the reward value. The card creates a loop that continually pulls members back toward more Costco spending. But running all of these services adds operational complexity that pure retailers do not face. A pharmacy inside a warehouse needs licensed pharmacists and regulatory compliance. An optical center needs trained opticians and specialized equipment. Each additional service is another system to manage, another set of specialists to employ, another regulatory environment to navigate. The breadth of what Costco offers is an advantage in keeping members engaged. but it is also a source of operational cost and complexity that compounds as the business grows. Here is something worth understanding about how Costco's model holds up against competition. Most retailers compete primarily on price. When a competitor lowers its price on a product, the standard response is to match or beat that price. Costco does not compete that way. It has already committed to the lowest price it can offer, given its markup cap. It cannot go lower without going below cost. So its competitive response to price pressure is not to cut prices further. It is to deepen the value of the membership, so that the overall savings from being a member remain compelling, even if one specific product becomes cheaper elsewhere. This means Costco competes on the total value of membership, rather than the price of any individual item. That is a fundamentally different competitive battlefield, and it is one that most retailers are not designed to fight on. Here is something that reveals a deeper tension in the model. Costco has to keep growing. New warehouses in new markets attract new members. New members generate new fee income. That fee income funds operations and allows the company to negotiate even better prices from suppliers through even greater volume. Growth is not optional. It is the mechanism that keeps the economics improving. But every new warehouse requires enormous upfront investment: land, construction, inventory, staffing. A new warehouse does not become profitable immediately. It takes time to build a membership base large enough to cover operating costs. And in markets where consumers have strong existing relationships with other retailers, building that membership base can be slow and expensive. Every geographic expansion carries the risk that the membership model does not take hold quickly enough to justify the investment. There is one more dimension to Costco's business that most members never think about. The physical design of the warehouse itself is a financial decision. Walk into a Costco and notice what is missing. There are no elaborate displays, no decorative shelving, no carefully designed lighting meant to make products look appealing. Products sit on industrial metal racks in their original shipping packaging. The signs are simple. The floor is concrete. The ceiling is the actual roof of the building. Every dollar that a typical retailer spends on store design and visual merchandising is a dollar Costco saves, and either passes to the customer as a lower price or keeps as margin. But here is something strange about what that bare warehouse communicates to a customer. It does not feel cheap. It feels honest. The absence of decoration signals that money has not been wasted on things that do not affect the product. The customer sees a pallet of goods and interprets it as a sign that they are getting the real price. The Spartan environment is not a cost-cutting measure that members notice with disappointment. It is a message that reinforces exactly why they paid the membership fee in the first place. And the layout of the warehouse reinforces this further. Essential items like milk, eggs, and bread are placed at the back of the store. To reach them, a member walks past thousands of other products. Some of those products create impulse purchases. Others remind a member of something they need. The journey through the warehouse to reach what they came for generates additional revenue that a store designed purely for convenience would never capture. The inconvenience is designed. The long walk is profitable. Here is something worth sitting with about Costco's relationship with its own employees. In an industry where low wages and high turnover are standard, Costco pays its employees significantly above the retail average. Benefits are generous compared to competitors. Turnover is low, and the connection between those two facts is not coincidental. High employee turnover is expensive in ways that do not show up, obviously, on a cost sheet. Training new employees takes time and reduces productivity. Experienced employees know where products are, how to help customers efficiently, and how to handle unusual situations without requiring supervision. A warehouse staffed mostly by experienced, well-compensated employees operates more efficiently than one constantly cycling through new hires learning the basics. The higher wage bill is partially offset by the lower cost of turnover, better customer service, and fewer operational errors. Whether it fully offsets is debated. But Costco has maintained this approach for decades, which suggests the economics support it well enough to continue. But wage costs are rising across the retail industry as minimum wages increase in many markets, and competition for workers grows more intense. Even Costco, which already pays above average, faces pressure to increase compensation further, and every dollar added to the average hourly wage across a workforce of hundreds of thousands of employees adds meaningfully to total operating costs. The membership fee and the thin product margins have to absorb those increases, which means Costco has to find efficiency somewhere else, or eventually raise the membership fee, or accept slightly lower profitability. None of those options is free. Here is something about the membership fee itself that most members do not think about carefully. Costco has raised the fee several times over the decades. Each increase generates significant additional revenue because it applies to the entire existing membership base simultaneously. A fee increase of a few dollars across tens of millions of members adds hundreds of millions of dollars to annual revenue without requiring a single additional sale. But each increase also carries a risk. Marginal members, who were barely saving enough through lower prices to justify the cost of membership, might recalculate and decide the math no longer works. A fee increase that drives away even a small percentage of members can partially offset the revenue gained from the higher fee paid by those who stay. Costco manages this tension by timing fee increases carefully and ensuring that the value delivered to members through product prices and services continues to grow ahead of the fee. If members feel they are consistently saving more each year than they pay in fees, the periodic increase feels acceptable rather than alarming. But the moment members start to feel that the savings and the fee are roughly equal, the calculus shifts, and a new competitor offering similar savings without a membership requirement would suddenly look very appealing. So this is the tension that Costco lives with permanently. The model requires members to feel they are receiving dramatically more value than they pay in the annual fee. Maintaining that feeling requires holding prices low on products. Holding prices low on products requires enormous purchasing volume. Maintaining enormous purchasing volume requires growing the membership base. Growing the membership base requires building new warehouses. Building new warehouses requires capital investment that only the existing membership fee income can comfortably fund. Each element of the system depends on every other element staying in balance. Remove any one piece and the logic weakens. Raise prices too much and memberships do not renew. Reduce purchasing volume and suppliers gain leverage. Slow warehouse growth and the membership base stagnates. The model is remarkably stable when it is in balance. But that stability is not passive. It requires constant management of an interconnected set of trade-offs that most retailers never have to consider. So this is how Costco actually makes money. It charges members for access before they buy a single product. It uses that membership income to fund operations at a scale that allows it to offer prices so low that members rarely consider canceling. It concentrates its buying power across a deliberately limited selection of products to extract costs from suppliers that no other retailer can match. It uses strategically priced items to drive traffic that generate sales across thousands of other products. It layers services on top of the warehouse experience to deepen member engagement and create reasons to visit beyond the next grocery run. And it reinvests the resulting stability into new locations that extend the model into new markets and new membership bases. The next time you pay the annual fee and walk through those warehouse doors, remember that the membership card in your wallet is not the cost of shopping there. It is the entire business. Everything else, the pallets of olive oil, the rotisserie chickens, the giant televisions, is just evidence that the membership was worth paying for.